Brianna Lanoy is an enthusiastic 5th grade teacher at the Buffalo Elementary School of Technology. This best practice is small group instruction with 6-level groups. While the lessons are modified to meet the varied learners, all of the students are working to meet the same objective. Ms. Lanoy plans her lessons by reviewing various student data points, writing student-friendly objectives, setting clear expectations via chance, and modeling effective small group engagement.
I'm very enthusiastic right now. My students bring so much energy and joy into the classroom. It's hard to not be inspired by them. I think the classroom's an interesting environment where it's one of the only environments I know of where I go to work and people are consistently pushing themselves. There's this limitless potential. They're constantly having failures, but knowing that those are learning opportunities and really embodying a growth mindset.
Loud and proud. He shut Klaus across the face. He struck Klaus across the face. I remember that. That means that he's evil. Good job.
To take risks, and that's just the most exciting thing as a teacher is to see students who have faced adversity, face failures in school, and they like keep coming back for more and having this growth mindset. And when they accomplish their goals, it's that's why I'm enthusiastic. It's the best feeling in the world. We're going to see my classroom in small group instruction. So there's 6 leveled groups in my classroom at the time. They're leveled based on their Fontenay and Pinnell level and their Dibbles level. And they're going to be engaged in differentiated work, still working towards the same objectives, but engaging in meaningful and rigorous activities at their level. Differentiated, first off, they're based on their level, so they're engaging in text that is at their level.
In bringing important problems to people's attention. Have we found any details in our text that prove this? Any details that prove that newspapers play an important role in bringing important problems to attention? Have we gotten that far in our story yet? All right. Did you find one somewhere? Let's look over the text that we read to see if there's any parts that prove that. Oh, excellent. All right. Tell everyone what page you found.
On page 4.
Okay. So page 4, she's going to read her paragraph.
So they can engage in the activity. It's scaffolded so that they can feel successful in that activity, and it varies based on their level. Another reason that it's a best practice is just the fluency of how they can go through the routine of their group. They know their expectations, they are accountable, they have a survey that they take at the end and an exit ticket, so that it's just it's an entire routine for them, and they're able to effectively engage in it. Number one, if we're starting the beginning of the year, is to divide your groups up first. Get as many data points as you can. I use Fontenay and Pinnell and their Dibble scores. And it's important that these groups are transient, though, as they grow, as they advance. Those groups do change, and those students do know that their levels have gone up. They need to know their data, I think, so that they can set their goals and advance in the classroom. The next aspect of it would be practicing. Building stamina is a huge component of effective small groups. Almost till the end of, right before Thanksgiving break, was the first time that we could really, truly effectively stay in our groups for a full hour, get through that entire component, have those routines that we practiced so diligently just work. And it was great, but it did take that long. It takes time to have them in those groups and working effectively.
Something to change. Because you can't predict the future. You can't tell me the evolution. What I know what this person you got if you want major
Excellent.
And then you remember details about the dinosaur, right? How they destroyed the trees, how they got exploded, right? So you when you write the conclusion,
you get a conclusion. What if it's only like one detail, and then the other details are the rest about the other thing?
The next thing is clear expectations for the groups. We use CHAMP, so conversation, help, activity, movement, participation, and success. They know what's expected when they're in their groups. And then they are accountable at the end because they do have their survey component where they're grading themselves and their groups. And we do reflect on that data, which is important. It's not just thrown away. It's something that they can continuously improve upon.
Good job. She said we think. What did she say? We. Representing her group. Good job. What, leader? Yeah, what to conclude if we don't have our details first? We're gonna synthesize that. Excellent job. And leader Shemaya wasn't here for our lesson, but what did she do in her group? She talked and listened. So even if we miss part of it, we still have knowledge to be gained.
The last component is making sure the objectives, content, and language are clear, and that it's something that you have talked to whole group, and then they're able to really demonstrate and dig in at a higher level in their differentiated groups.
In a pile, we're going to talk about these 2 questions on the board. Books in a pile, leave your posters up, and return to our seats. Okay, 2 responses before we go. Shwezi or Goop, what is your group's consensus?
The details and then the conclusion.
Okay, so why?
Because the details help you find, and then you get deeper, so you can find a conclusion.
So you find the details, then you think about them, and you draw your what? Conclusion based off the text. Excellent. Your exit ticket on eDoctrina, it's going to be underneath your story. It's going to be underneath what? Story. So read carefully, pick the one that's your story title, and begin. When you're done, you're going to get out your math stuff. You guys did great. Leaders, did we meet all our champs today?
Yes.
Excellent. We get our 10 gems for success. Jimmy.
The last part, I would just say don't give up. I would say persevere through that. You're building your own stamina as well. It might seem overwhelming because there's 5 or 6 groups going at the same time, but you're meeting with them and you're able to reach them all.
Critical. Pause there. What's critical mean? What do you think? Oh, what did he say? What did he say? Important. It is important. Okay.
I would say it is a struggle, and that's right. It should feel that way. Work is hard. But the most important work is hard work, and it is overwhelming. Just the moment that makes it worthwhile is when you glance over and you see 3 students engaged in meaningful conversations, and they're doing it. They're working together, and they're able to accomplish the objective that you set before them. And it's really inspiring. And that's enough to see, okay, every student is being reached. Every student is able to gain something so valuable from these small groups. My lowest group, my red group, we were working on finding those details, and then they got so excited that they were finding details that we kind of lost track on what was the difference between important, essential details that really do prove that conclusion and just a comment in the story that does apply to the conclusion. So I did take the time to, one student gave an example, and I broke it down into 2 parts because they had it just all encompassed into one. The blizzard was coming, and they had to head home because it was dangerous. So we broke it up into 2 parts because the conclusion was just, how do they know that storms are dangerous? And we were able to differentiate in that group between an important part of the detail and a not so important part. And that group really does struggle with that, especially when we're talking about state testing. Pulling those 2 details, they'll pull a lot of information. So really working on those the skills to discern what is really important and what is not. So I think it's important for all students to be acknowledged when they come into the classroom, no matter what time it is. It is important. You are here. I am happy that you are here, and especially when students are coming from difficult situations earlier, so, specifically with this student, she had encountered a trying situation this morning, so I knew it was going to be a difficult transition anyway, but I wanted her to know that just because we've had a difficult situation in the morning, it does not determine our whole day. We can be leaders, we can make those choices to have a good day. That is a choice, and a lot of times I think students think that it's not a choice. It's over, it's done with, my whole day is ruined. And really I wanted to acknowledge her and to show when we got to our whole group section, she actually engaged in that conversation. Even though she wasn't here, she listened to her peers, then responded to that question whole group. So I think that just showed that she values her education and that she knows that her peers, she trusts them, that they had a successful day, and what she was going to repeat from their discussion was going to be valuable information and was going to answer the question. Wonderful thing about eDoctrina and Schoology is I get everything instantly. So it's on eDoctrina. I can look at it really, really quickly and see which students were able to comprehend, drawing conclusions and finding those details, and along with comprehending their story, because there are some comprehension questions as well on their exit ticket. If we need to go over things, I will pull a small group that may have missed the target a little bit and dive into those same objectives and a different piece of text or something they're more familiar with or that we will familiarize together. It's important to do that, I believe, immediately. I know myself, I forget things the next day, so it's really important for them to just, because it could be a very quick misunderstanding that could be cleared up, and then they will have success in the future. To those who are starting to implement small group instruction, it is extremely difficult in the beginning, but the rewards are well worth the hard work that it takes in the beginning. So good luck with what you're doing.